I voted for the first time in my life because of Donald Trump. That's the first election, presidential election, or any election I ever voted in. I didn't come off the schneid because of Tucker Carlson or Megyn Kelly or Mark Levin, for that matter, or people on the other side of this whole thing. I didn't get into this because of you. I got into it because of Trump. That's why I got into it. That's why I'm still here, is because of Trump. I support President Donald Trump. That's it. Does that mean I agree with every single thing that he does? No, because I'm not an idiot. But it's like these people think like, oh, wait a minute. What did they say? Oh, you're not supporting Trump anymore? Oh, I'm not supporting Trump either anymore then. Well, then you never did. You're just a man with a wet paper ass. So the feuding that's going on online is an impressions grab. It's a money grab. It's a free-for-all in that space, in that influencer space that doesn't mean anything really anyway. It means something in the terms of monetizing all this stuff for these people. So that's all that's about.
I think it goes a little bit deeper than that, but I agree with the overall sentiment. I'm dancing with the person that brought me here, right? Just because a few so-called podcasters, right, supposedly right-wing, say that they don't support Trump or don't like Trump now doesn't mean that I'm hopping ship. You know, my mom always told me, we know the saying, just because they jump off a bridge, you go jump off the bridge behind them? Nah, I'm going to stand there and watch them, though, because that's going to be one hell of a show. You know? That's just the way that I see it, but I thought it was great to start off the video with that clip because that's exactly how I feel. I don't give a crap what they do. I'm not following them. I didn't get on this movement because of Marjorie Taylor Greene or Tucker Carlson or Megyn Kelly or any of these other folks. I got on this movement because of Trump. And last time I checked, he's still the conductor, so off away we go. Now, I want to talk about Joe Kent a little bit more because some information recently came out. And of course, you got Marjorie Taylor Greene, who had to put her 2 cents in. So the Trump admin is going to put Joe Kent in jail before anyone on the Epstein list or anyone from Obama's Russiagate or anyone from the COVID tyranny. Under Trump, I guess Joe Kent, Gold Star husband and deployed 11 times, can join Tina Peters, Gold Star mom, in prison. Now, if you guys haven't heard, I'm going to read what Laura Loomer had posted. White House source tells me Joe Kent resigned once he got word that he was going to be under investigation for leaking classified information. It has now been reported that Joe Kent is under FBI investigation for allegedly leaking classified information. As I reported last year, Joe Kent was caught leaking President Trump's private schedule in meetings to Tucker Carlson and was told by senior White House advisors that if he got caught leaking again, he would be fired. That is a major problem. I don't care who you're leaking it to. That is a major problem. You're leaking the president's private schedule and his meetings, considering what had happened to the man, what was going on. That's a major issue. That is a massive, massive issue and security risk. And for those of you that think that this investigation was due to, trying to get back at him, this investigation had been going on.
Joe Kent, the former director of the United States National Counterterror Center, this is from Semaphore, he just resigned. He's now under FBI investigation for allegedly leaking classified information. And the investigation predates his departure. Congressman, your reaction to that tonight? Wow.
Well, there's a lot there, and I think that we need to let this investigation play out, but we shouldn't tolerate any leakers in the administration, particularly regarding classified national security interests and information. So we'll let this play out and see where it goes, but if he was leaking, he ought to be held accountable just like anybody else would be.
Now, 5 minutes ago, he seemed to think that Iran was a big threat, and then suddenly that threat went away. It was very odd.
Yeah, very odd. It's almost as if he figured out something was happening behind the scenes, and he wanted to try to, you know, make himself seem innocent, or like whatever they were about to do to him was retaliation. Because we learned yesterday, and I talked about this yesterday in the video yesterday, that he had been pulled out of meetings where classified information was being given, which is why he didn't have any information on the whole Iran situation. They had pulled him from those meetings because they had suspected, I can't talk, jeez. They had suspected him of being a leak, and he was under investigation. So he had already been pulled from these meetings, and then he learned, oh crap, they're investigating me. Hey guys, Iran didn't have anything. They didn't have anything. I resigned. You know, how do you save yourself? Make yourself sound and seem as, or make the investigation or whatever is coming sound and seem as if it's retaliation, so that you get some type of sympathy from the masses. Just saying. I'm just saying. And of course, you know, you got Democrats and mainstream media and some other folks who were supposed to be on the right, who called themselves on the right, you know, saying that this is the end. This is the MAGA coalition is falling. It's fallen. It's crumbling. It's over with. You know, we've heard this before. Genuinely, we've heard this before. We've heard the walls are closing in. This is the end. We got them. And if you don't believe me, well, yeah, you guessed it. Y'all know. I come with clips, baby.
Why do you think these attacks are becoming so much more frequent now?
It's not surprising that Donald Trump is increasing his attacks. The walls are closing in on him.
The walls are Don't just stand there, try and brace it with something.
It feels like the walls are closing in on the White House. It feels as if the walls are closing in here.
I think the walls of justice are closing in on President Trump.
Increasingly desperate, feeling like the walls are closing in.
The president clearly feels all the walls closing in on him in terms of the Russia investigation.
The walls are closing in.
I think at this point, the walls are spinning. It does feel like the walls are closing in, but I think that the administration at this point can start to see the walls closing in.
He feels the walls closing in on him. Everybody he talks to says the walls are closing in.
This is another potential wall closing in.
This president is feeling the walls are closing in.
The walls, meanwhile, are closing in on the president of the United States.
I think he's feeling the Russia investigation. I think he's feeling the walls closing in on him.
I think he knows that the walls are closing in.
The walls may be closing in higher up at the White House.
The president apparently believes that the walls are closing in on him.
The walls are closing in on the president.
Okay, so you get the gist of it, right? We have heard this type of rhetoric before. And you know what happened? Absolutely nothing. We have heard this all before. And you know, CNN came off the top rope and I don't know, hit him with the who used to jump off the top rope? Was it no, it wasn't Rey Mysterio, was it? No. Who used to jump off the top rope in wrestling? I don't know. Whomever, right? Matter of fact, we could talk about The Rock. What wasn't it like the people's elbow when he would drop him down? CNN came through with the people's elbow, which is with a new poll. Check it out.
And this is one of those, because just take a look here. MAGA GOP view of Trump. Approve 100%. 100%. If you are a member of MAGA and the GOP, you approve of Donald John Trump. 0% say that they disapprove. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know you can't go higher than 100%. He is the 1972 Miami Dolphins. Now, there are some Republicans who disapprove of Donald John Trump, but they are not members of the Make America Great Again movement. The bottom line is this: if you are a member of MAGA, you approve of Donald Trump.
It's interesting, though, because there have been a couple prominent people who have sort of come out online, and they're very mad about this war with Iran because he promised no new wars. Is there any sign that people might be leaving MAGA relative to 2024?
Yeah, okay. So, you know, I've said it before, and, you know, The theme of this segment is Tucker Carlson be darned. And when we look at the numbers, I mean, I've heard some people say, oh, you know what, when you look at those MAGA numbers, it doesn't account for those who might have left MAGA. But take a look here. Americans who identify as MAGA, in November of 2024, it was 28% of Americans. Now it's basically the same. If anything, it's slightly higher at 30%. The bottom line is this. The MAGA base within the GOP is not shrinking. It's the same size. If anything, it is slightly larger than it was back in 2024 when, of course, Donald Trump won a second term. So that 100% that Donald Trump has approval among MAGA GOP, that is not an artifact of MAGA shrinking. It's just an indication of how strong Donald Trump's grip is on that MAGA base.
And so I guess that begs the question of what's happening with inside the GOP and if there are any splits there, because with those kind of numbers, they're going to want to retain that, right? So they can retain their seats.
Yes. And you know what we're talking about? You know, we mentioned Iran in the intro of this segment. GOP on U.S. military action in Iran. Look at this. In MAGA, it's 90% approval. It's 90% approval, just 5% disapproval. If you disapprove of the job that Donald Trump is doing, or excuse me, the U.S. military action in Iran, and you're a member of the GOP, look at this. It's your non-MAGA. You're non-MAGA. It's 36% there, 54% approve. But the majority of Republicans approve of the job that the U.S. military action is in Iran, and the majority of MAGA, which is the majority of the GOP, very much approve, 90%. Very little split in Donald Trump's base. Those who disapprove in the GOP, simply put, they hate MAGA.
It's really clear. MAGA has the floor.
MAGA has the floor, 100%.
All right. Harry Anton.
100%. And MAGA isn't shrinking, it's growing. And these are numbers from CNN, so we all know, you know, these numbers are lower than what they possibly, what they genuinely are. I don't believe MAGA is simply 30%. It's definitely higher than that. But the point still remains. It's growing, not shrinking, and we're together, not breaking apart. So don't pay attention to the noise in these folks who are, oh my goodness, MAGA's falling apart. Trump has lost everything. Trump has abandoned the voters. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. It's BS. It's a load of crap. And I have my speculations as to why I think these folks are doing it. One is because of money, right? I think the original, right, the way it started was money. Some folks were contacted to start breaking up the coalition, right? Paid some exorbitant dollars because, you know, money makes the world go round. If it makes sense, then it makes sense, right? Somebody got a fat check or got some, you know, some things on the side, and then they started pushing this, and then some other folks saw what was happening. And then they tried to hop on board. Oh, let me ride this wave as well. And so they hopped on. And then a couple of people got disgruntled. Marjorie Taylor Greene being one of them, because she wanted to run for Senate and she went to Trump. And Trump said, hell no. Not you. You can stay in the House, but I'm not sticking my neck out for you for the Senate. No, we ain't doing that. Well, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. You know, I'm just saying that's the vibe that I'm getting. That's the vibe that I'm getting. And then, of course, with the latest Joe Kent, I explained that one earlier. When you see that there's an investigation against you, and you know you're probably guilty, you know you are guilty, what's a way to try to get out of it? Oh, I'm going to make this investigation seem as if it's retaliation because of me resigning and some of the things I'm going to say. Just saying, you know, just saying. That's kind of what I think is the gist of all of this. There's a multitude of things. It started off with money, people being paid. Then a couple folks hopped on because they wanted to try to ride that viewership wave, right? Because everybody was talking about it. Ooh, I can get a bunch of clicks if I start saying some crazy stuff, you know. Then some people got disgruntled and hopped on that. You know, I'm sure there was more money thrown around somewhere in there as well. Not just at the beginning, but somewhere in the middle as well too. Some other folks probably got paid. Because at the end of the day, say what you want, but most people, if we're just being completely honest, Most people will do something strange for a little piece of change. And when I say little, I don't genuinely mean little, but it's just the way the saying goes. Most people will do something strange for that change. You offer somebody $100 million, you don't think they're going to tap dance? Let's be real here. I mean, hell, $20 million. You offer somebody $20 million. You mean to tell me you don't think they're going to tap dance? Like, how high you want me to jump? You know? Well, I genuinely can't jump that high, but I'm going to figure out how to, though. You know what I mean? Like, they going to do whatever they can to get that 20 M's. It's just facts. It's just facts. It's unfortunate. It's crazy to watch, you know, because some of these folks I genuinely liked. I really did. And it's like, yo, and I'm not saying that Trump is above criticism or that you can't criticize, you know, the GOP or Republicans or anything like that. No, I've disagreed with Trump before. But you know what I didn't do? I didn't make it a big deal. I didn't sensationalize it. I didn't, Rich disagrees with Trump. You know, I didn't try to make it some clickbaity thing and continually harp. Some of y'all might not have even seen the video. I didn't put it in the title. I didn't put it in the thumbnail. I just said it in the middle of a video because it's genuinely how I felt. I might have said it in one other video, and I left it at that. I said my piece, and I kept it pushing. But when people continually try to harp on it, like, come on now. Come on now. You know what they're doing. They want the dollars and cents. They want the dollars and cents. But that's just my humble opinion on it. I don't have any insider information other than what I've given to you all. Y'all can let me know what you think about it in the comments below. All right? Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.